How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? You are back with VEDACOM. That is VEDACOM with two M's, VEDACOM.com. And I'm here with
Joseph Elmore, Elmore Vision Entertainment.
Hey, listen, we have a lot of good stuff to talk about today, but more importantly, we're going to be talking about the subject matter of film, more specifically, film in Houston, Texas. Now, you're working on another project. What's the name of that project?
The one we're working on right now is called Rage.
Okay.
It's a boxing movie about two different males at different points of their careers. One used to be championship contender. One never got out of the unsanctioned boxing environment. And so they clash and they get into an argument and they want to meet. They want to duke it out in the ring.
Gotcha.
So that's basically what Rage is all about.
All right, and so what inspired you to make this particular film?
Big boxing fan.
Okay.
Big boxing fan, but I'm a different type of animal. Like,
What do you mean?
the new school boxing fan,
Okay.
they don't see it like I see it. Like, I got friends of mine who are big boxing fans. They're big Floyd Mayweather fans.
Gotcha.
I respect Floyd Mayweather, but Muhammad Ali, he had to fight nothing but killers.
Okay.
Nothing but killers.
And so, and if I'm hearing you correctly, are you saying that Mr. Floyd Mayweather at this time does not have that pedigree of competition available to him?
That's what I feel.
Okay.
That's what I feel. And
That's a big statement. You got some people gonna be upset with you.
That's
about
what
that.
we debate all the time. We debate it
Okay.
all the time. But the problem is, can't nobody tell me different. Because
Okay.
when I start listening, Sonny Liston,
Okay.
Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman, Jimmy Young, Ernie Shavers, Ryan Lyles, like Jerry Clooney, the killers that we faced it ain't even close.
Wow.
And you gotta look at, when I say killers, I'm talking about people in history. When you go by, oh, that's a killer, that's a killer, that's a killer. The list is endless with Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
I didn't even bring up Floyd Patterson. Like, his list is endless. Floyd, we talking who? When I tell people about Floyd, they say Canelo. They stuck at Canelo.
Okay. Okay.
And then when we start going into Canelo, they go, oh, Canelo's not. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's like, and then I go into Sugar Ray Leonard. Well, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran, they all fought each other. They were all killers.
Okay.
When I talk about killers, okay, we go, what's the list of welterweights or middleweights in history? 4 of them all fought each other. They're all on the list.
Right.
Floyd's on the list. But who else? Who else?
Gotcha.
That's what I mean by who you fight. So it's not a disrespect to Floyd. He can only fight who he's in front of. But when you start talking about who's the greatest of all time,
Okay.
I'm used to killers. Guys who get in the ring with somebody who we don't know who's going to win, and they knock that person out.
Okay, so is it fair to say that for this film, Rage, that you're working on, we're going to see that level of intensity as far as boxing in this particular film?
What you're going to see is animals.
Okay.
You're going to see
And I think America is about time that they're ready for that. They're ready for real contenders, real boxing, you know.
You're looking for, okay, the energy of a boxer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I get Floyd is the sweet science of boxing. That's sweet. You know what I mean? Rage is about the anger within a fighter. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That anger that like Floyd, he's smart. I'm gonna do this, boom, 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 boom. I barely get touched. I'm gonna make a ton of money. I'm out. Animals, they gotta stay.
Okay.
They can't just leave. You know what I mean? They gotta get back in the cage and fight.
This is their purpose in life.
That's their purpose in life. This guy, Theo Barnes, he had to get out of boxing because he had, brain damage.
Okay.
If he gets hit one more time, he can die. So he hasn't been around boxing. He goes one day, he's in the environment, and he's imagining himself in the ring. forget all the fear and the whatever, he gotta fight.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? He gotta fight. That's what fighters do, they fight. So when you look at Roy Jones, you say, man, Roy fought too long. Evander Holyfield fought too long. Mike Tyson's 60, he just had a fight.
Yes, he did. He did actually.
He just had a fight. They're fighting too long. But that's what fighters do.
Right. Because that is their purpose.
It's their purpose. They fight. You know, my boy was talking about, he was comparing Sugar Ray Leonard when he was older to Floyd Mayweather older. Different animals. Sugar Ray Leonard fought killers. Floyd is, I'm good. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody touching me. When someone's touched you, put you on the ground, and you gotta get up and fight that person and win, it's different on your body than somebody tapping you and you know, ain't nobody really, I'm not Floyd, he never had a fight. He's a boxer, of course he had a fight. What I'm saying is the type of fighter.
Well, let me ask you this, because we've seen, well, the public has seen films like Rocky, films like Creed. What would make Rage different than, let's say, Creed or Rocky films?
Well, stories are stories. Boxing is boxing. You know what I mean? But for me, Rage is about the people around the fighters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you got the fighters, but the people around the fighters is what makes the fight even that more intensified. It's not because we need money and this, that, and the third. It's no, my life. My life, the people around me cause the anger.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So if a family member passes away, your rage. If a family member passes away and then you lose your girlfriend to a dude who is nowhere near as cool as you are, you know what I'm saying? A dude just takes your woman. Your anger.
And all of this is in the film?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your anger to fight is more intensified. And so it's not just the fighters, it's about the people around the fighters that causes the rage inside the fighter.
Okay, so what do you think that crowd or the audience reaction would be like, you know, after seeing Rage?
I think, well, first of all,
anticipation.
I don't want to give the story too much away, but you feel for the characters.
Okay.
And that's in any story, you know what I mean? You have to feel for the characters, you have to get to know the characters, and you start to fall in love with the characters, and you want them all to win. The thing about Rage is, you're going to go into the fight, you know, when you watch Rocky, which is one of the greatest boxing movies ever.
I think a lot of people can agree with that.
Absolutely. Rocky's one of the best. And I like Creed. Creed is another really well done fight movie. I'm not saying I'm making the best fight movie. What I'm saying is I'm making what I consider a fight movie for me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And for the people who I know. To me, Raging Bull is the best fight movie. That is for me. Okay. Raging Bull is the best fight movie, boxing movie I've ever seen. Martin Scorsese, the actors are brilliant or whatever. For me, I try to mix everything I know from, my father taught me boxing when I was a kid.
Really?
So I've been watching and studying boxing since I was little.
Gotcha.
And so that's why when people try to debate me on boxing, I know so much history.
And this is why you can just rattle off names after names and
when I ask people what's the greatest fight they've ever seen, everyone goes to Tommy Hitman Hearns and Marvin Hagler. The greatest fight I've ever seen was Ron Lau and George Foreman. A lot of people who know boxing don't even know that fight.
Oh, and speaking of George Foreman, I'm glad you brought him up. He's here. He's from Texas, Houston. What are your thoughts on him as a fighter? What are your thoughts just on him as a person?
Oh, that's easy. The thing that was fascinating about George Foreman as a fighter, he had a monstrous jab. A monstrous jab. His jab was vicious. Now people look at him and they see the and the, you know, the destroy mode. But that jab was, it was vicious.
Now I've heard some people say when they fought Mr. Foreman that was like some of the hardest punches they ever took. Would that be, like, would you agree with those statements? Depending on who it is.
I wouldn't want to fight him, but watching his fights, you know, I heard some people say that Mike Tyson was a harder hitter. Absolutely not. I'm a big Mike Tyson fan. But when I look at Mike Tyson, I think of Joe Frazier.
Okay.
They're very similar in fighting. If you look at their fighting styles, they're very similar. Joe Frazier was a Bobby Reed guy, you know, get in there. That's Mike Tyson. Look at their styles, they're very similar. Did you see what George Foreman did to Joe Frazier? It was mean what he did to Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier, oh my God, one of the greatest fighters of all time, heavyweights, another killer that Muhammad Ali beat and had to fight. And George Foreman just, Joe Frazier couldn't do nothing with him.
Wow.
He was just the jab. He couldn't get past the jab. And once the jab was destroying him and kept him at bay, he was like Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier, the second fight, which is funny because I didn't even know they had a second fight.
Okay.
Growing up, I didn't know about the second fight. But as an adult, I went back and watched and saw the second fight of Joe Frazier and George Foreman. And Joe Frazier, you could tell he had a good trainer because the plan was right.
Okay.
The plan was to duck and move and keep your head moving and don't get caught. The plan was perfect. But George Foreman was a smart boxer. And the second fight, he used the jab more. And Joe Frazier just couldn't get past, no matter how much bobbing and weaving he did, he couldn't get past it. So for me, when I think of the hardest hitters, there's three of them.
Okay.
There's George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, Ron Lyles.
Gotcha.
Ron Lyles. Any boxing person cannot debate me on that.
Okay.
Nobody can debate me.
I'm gonna try to find somebody to debate you
I
on
promise
purpose.
you. They'll go, yeah, he right. Those three,
Okay.
George Foreman, Ron Lyles, and Ernie Shavers. Hardest hitting fighters. If you can name me somebody harder hitting, I can't even imagine.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, a lot of times when people use the term, hard hitting, is there a metric other than physical pain or that, one could point to say, okay, this is what makes a boxer a heavy hitter, a hard hitter? Is it the way they train? Is it technique? Or is it just natural born ability?
I personally think that when a fighter who can hit was born with that.
Okay.
Now you gotta hone it. You gotta, teach it how to.
Like any other skill.
Like any other skill. You know what I mean? You gotta nurture it. But that power, like George Foreman, I watched the movie George Foreman, which I liked. He was just big and strong, and he had it. You know what I mean? And he just once he learned how to fight, yeah, it was a killer. And like I said, if you watch the fight with George Foreman and Ron Lyles, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm thinking George Foreman is the meanest, toughest guy in the world. Then Ron Lyles hit him with a brick in the first round and put him on the canvas. Boom.
Wow. And
I'm watching this going, holy, he just hit George Foreman in the first round and put him on the ground. George Foreman gets up, pow, hits Ron Lyles. Ron Lyles wobbly, and he's boom, 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 put him on the ground.
Wow.
Ron Lyles gets up, boom, hits Foreman again. Foreman's on the ground. I'm telling you, I think they lasted 10 rounds or something like that.
That's a long time for a fight. That's a very long time.
So my boy was telling me and T, shout out to my boy T Roy, one of my producing partners, we discuss boxing all the time. And he tries to tell me how Floyd is clean. Where it's like nobody's ever done this, that, and that. I said, yes, you can do that when you run in the ring with killers. It's different. If George Foreman would have never fought Ron Lyles, and he would have never fought Muhammad Ali, and he would have never fought Jimmy Young, you would think he was the greatest of all time because he never fought guys who could actually figure him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hitting. The thing about a killer is, you're a killer, I'm a killer. Let's go. There's guys who, he's a good fighter, he's a killer. There's a difference. He's a great fighter, he's a killer. A killer is somebody who can look at you, size you up, and figure out how to get you out of there.
Well, let me ask you this, because again, you are a huge boxing fan, and you're on your 14th or 15th film.
Absolutely.
My question is, why haven't you made a boxing film before your 14th or 15th installment?
Because you got to figure out where the story is.
Okay.
You can't just go, I'm gonna make a boxing movie and there's no story. Like I've been trying to figure out what's the story that I want to tell, because I don't want to tell the same story that everybody else has told.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So what's my story? And until I have that, I'm not interested.
Okay, and that's fair.
You know what I mean?
That is fair.
So I do that with every genre. Like I love when somebody tells me, so you only make so-and-so movies. No, not at all. Like if you look at my catalog, I'm eclectic. You know, I tell stories. I don't tell genres.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I might tell a love story. She's sexy. I might tell a romantic comedy, speed dating, 10 Reasons Why Men Cheat. I might tell a crime drama, Gutter, Platinum, Perk 30. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
It's just a psychological thriller, Double Kill, How to Get Away with Cheating, a erotic thriller, Complex. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all over the place because I love stories. I don't stick myself. I don't get stuck in the genre.
Well, let me ask you, what is a story in terms of film that you kind of have in your back pocket that you're just waiting to tell?
Oh man, there's one that I can't tell. Because if I tell it, somebody gonna do it. It's just such a concept.
Understood.
It's such a concept, but it is in my back pocket, and I can't wait to. I haven't written it.
Okay.
I just have it in here, which I usually do. I have stories in my head.
Gotcha. You hear that, people?
But when the time is right, and hopefully it'll be next year sometime that I get to tell this story. It's a comedy.
Okay.
But I think it's hilarious.
You know, and one of the things I'll say about you is that I am glad that you are doing films right here in Houston. So many people, you know, they get that slight bit of opportunity. They get a little bit of that taste of Hollywood, even if they're coming from Houston, and they go to these places and they never come back. I think one of the things that makes you special is the fact that you're not only shooting here in Houston, but you're staying here in Houston. And quite frankly, you are employing people here right in Houston. I want to say congratulations for that. Thank you on behalf of all Houstonians, because I mean, it's very much so needed. Your thoughts, I believe, on Senate Bill 22, in which there was a little bit over 500 million, am I saying that correctly, that was supposed to be allocated for film within Houston, within Texas. What are your thoughts on that bill?
All right, last time I saw that they were doing something like this, there were so many rules attached to it.
Okay.
Rules such as the Texas Film Commission had to approve your movie, and like hardly anything got approved.
Okay.
And it's like, it has to be this type of movie. Well, film is art.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, like, I think Robert Rodriguez got upset because he didn't get approved for it. And you can look it up, but I'm almost positive he got upset and said, yeah, later, right?
Wow.
He don't have to shoot in Texas, he's Robert Rodriguez. But his movie didn't get approved? Why? You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's, when you're doing it like that, that gives people too much power to tell you no.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When really it's art. It's $500 million. If you have the opportunity to help people, you know, get their art out there, that is what you're supposed to be doing. Not trying to tell them what to make.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You don't get artists by telling an artist how to make art. That doesn't make any sense. It's
Gotcha.
art. So you got Picasso, you're telling Picasso, I don't know, you shouldn't have colored her hair that color, it's gonna piss people off, or, you know, what's it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell an artist how to do their thing. You gotta support the art. That's what I thought they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Supporting the art. And if you're legitimate and you have a project that's legitimate and can help, like you said, bring finance to the community, that's a great thing.
I mean, you know, I took the time out, and I do so more now than ever, that when I finish watching the film, I actually take the time out to look at all of the people in the credits. And I'm seeing well over 200, 300, some places, 1,000 something people. And this is to include the people who may not even made it, their names have not even made it to the credits, but they contributed to that film in somehow. I mean, beyond the stars. We're talking the best boy, your grip, your sound engineers, your sound mixers, your wardrobe people, down to the caterers, animals, the different types of film commissions that may be involved in, kind of giving you that green light to shoot that film. And yes, people who do location scouting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's so many avenues or mouths that shooting film can actually feed. I am very curious as to why Houston, more importantly Texas, is not allowing that to occur. Your thoughts?
Man, I wish I knew.
Okay.
I wish I knew because personally I don't get it. I see a divide in Houston when it comes to filmmaking.
What do you mean?
There's these group of people and then there's these group of people.
Okay.
And we all might know each other, but I don't think we blend enough. And it's so crazy. I put it like this. I put a movie out there and all of a sudden, and they're gonna hate me for this. I don't care, I already hate me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't turn my phone off because of my daughter. People, okay, so you got this divide of people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I put out a movie. It does really well nationwide. It's happened to me, by the way. This has happened.
Okay, so
I put out
real
Speed
life.
Dating. I put out Speed Dating.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie that went to theaters. So everybody in Houston knows I got a movie that went to theaters. Nobody in Houston had a movie that went to theaters.
Nobody.
Not on an independent level. Bigger movies, yes, of course. I'm talking about on an independent level.
Okay.
Not that I've heard of at that time. So I was the first person around here really to have a movie that really went nationwide to theaters. I shot it in LA. I didn't shoot it in Houston. I shot it in LA. But, I was living in Houston. I was basically out of Houston. I just went to LA and shot the movie.
Understood.
So everybody was like, oh, wow, ooh, right? So I'm the same person. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people who a different group actually got their start working with me.
Okay.
A lot of people don't even know that. I can name the people who really got their start working with me. Because I don't discriminate. I just like your talent. Whatever your talent is, let's work, let's do it. If I don't have anything nationwide, I'm not the same to different people.
Okay.
I ain't changed, I'm the same dude. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Why not the same? The respect level is different. I see certain people who, I can't say names, but they do a project that gets nationwide again. They're accepted.
But they were not accepted before.
No.
Okay.
No. But you're accepted because of who you know, what you've done, whatever. And that is why that's the battle of this community. Right? There's not a filmmaker around here who can say they call me and ask me for advice that I didn't give them advice. Now, there's people who ask me, could they work on my set? I say no, because you're a filmmaker. I don't blend like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's too easy for you to come on my set and talk about your project the whole time. You know what I mean? I got a project and blah, blah, blah. And, you just come work for me. I don't want people on my set with that.
Right.
If you come on my set, I want you working on the movie that we working on. You know what I mean? No disrespect to filmmakers, but this is...
You're here for this film.
This is what we're here for.
This film.
You know what I mean? And not only that, I want my movie to look like my movie. Let your movie look like your movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the only part where I don't blend. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But if you ask me for advice, if you ask me, like I got a friend of mine, me and him, we just got off the phone before you showed up. We exchange things. People don't even know we cool like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we exchange like, I know certain people. He knows certain people. He's like, yo, I need so-and-so. You think you can call? And yeah, call. See, we can do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We look out for each other. And I think there's a group of people who do look out for each other. But I think if everybody came together,
We can have so much more.
we could have so much more. But they don't do that. they fake like they do it, but they don't really. They don't
Okay.
really.
What keeps you in? What keeps you working on projects? I mean, granted, people are not coming together in Houston. Filmmakers, right? Directors, no matter what it is, they're not coming together. What keeps you on solid ground? What keeps you focused on, hey, there's another idea, there's another great story to tell?
One, there are some people who come together. I don't say nobody comes together.
Okay.
I'm just saying there's a filmmaking community,
Right.
and there's a divide. You know what I'm saying? You go to one group and you see these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You go to another group, you see these guys.
Gotcha.
I've blended in with both. You know what I'm saying? I can walk in the boat and be chilling. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But these guys should be meeting these guys.
Understood.
You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
But what keeps you going?
But what keeps me going is stories.
Okay.
I love telling stories. I love what I do. You know, I went to college, I was going to be a basketball coach. And I'm sitting in practice, Division I school. I'm a sophomore and I got hired as a basketball coach. Unprecedented. So I'm a student with a faculty pass.
Wow.
And I remember falling asleep in practice. I love basketball. I was working and all that stuff, and you going to school, whatever, but that's not why I fell asleep. I really was bored. I was like, man, how come I'm not excited? Like when I first started, when I got the job, I was so excited. I'm not excited anymore. I started doing film. I started being interested in movies that year, my sophomore year.
Okay.
And I haven't been uninterested since. I am so fascinated and so excited and so appreciative of film and movies and what I do, and I love it. I've never said I want to do this no more.
Gotcha.
Never gotten bored. Every movie is another story. Every movie, something happens where you go, I can't believe that happened. It's always a story to tell. It's always exciting. You know, part of the fun of it is not the movie. The movie's great. We got this movie's out there. Film is forever. All filmmakers know film is forever. It's out there. It's great. We have this project out. But now you're working on your next project, and you're so excited about this new story you're about to do, and the new actors you're about to work with, and you know what I mean? So it never stops. It's just ongoing. So people who want to be in film, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you do it long enough, the money will come. If you're lucky, the money will come. But you have to do it because you love it. You have to.
Understood. Where can people find you?
Elmore Vision, Instagram, Elmore Vision, Joseph A. Elmore Jr. Look me up on Facebook. But yeah, I got the Elmore Vision Entertainment YouTube page.
Okay.
You can go there, get some exclusives when I drop trailers and stuff like that. I got a series out there called jobhaters.com with Dominique Perry, Phil Wade.
Okay.
I'm out there.
Well, when can people expect to see Rage?
Rage, we start shooting Rage in August.
Okay.
But, I don't know, that's tentative, because I might start, I'm ready to shoot now.
Okay.
It depends. But we have Complex 2 coming out July 8th. Check that out on Tubi. Yes, Complex 1 was a big hit around the world, and now we're doing Complex 2. So that's going to be out July 8th.
All right, well, I want to say thank you very much for being on this show here. And this is VEDA with 2Ms.com.